Hey guys, and welcome back to Enjoying School at Home. Today I want to talk about gathering joyfully when we come together to do school at home. So, why is it important to gather joyfully? I know that there is a list of things that I do not want to happen in my school at home time. So, a few of those are I do not want it to turn into just a checklist to get things done. I don't want my children to only be motivated to get something done for a grade and then toss it after that. I don't want to be working on empty love tanks and missing really just meaningful relationship connections. And then I know that I also want to keep in mind that I want to educate the whole child, including virtue and wisdom and their character, not just the academic subjects. So when we reduce the educational environment to those things, it really just becomes more of a manufacturing of knowledge of sorts and an assortment of retaining random facts. So what I do want for my students and my kids, who are my students, is I want my kids to be engaged and interested in the actual learning material. I want my students to have an intrinsic desire to learn knowledge for the sake of knowledge as opposed to just a grade. And I also want to be growing my relationships with them as we work side by side in this. And then I also want students who are open and willing to grow personally in their character as well as the knowledge of God's world. So, what does an educational environment that fosters what I do want look like? For me, that means joy in the home and lots of love and, of course, lots of other fruits of the Spirit. But today, I just want to talk about joy and focusing on how do we do this? How do we come to the table? How do we greet them joyfully, even though we're still moms and there's lots of chores and stress and grumpies and whinies from the kids? Okay, so let's start by what does it mean for me as mom to have and model joy or a feeling of great pleasure or happiness? So to me, that means I'm going to have a good attitude and I'm going to be a pleasure to be around. And that's not always easy. But when I think through the things that I need to be able to do this, I need to be prepared for my day. I need to have a rough schedule of my day in my mind or outlined on paper. I also need to not be stressed out by surrounding tasks such as errands or house chores. And then I know I'm going to need my own breakfast, my own coffee, and also to not have yesterday's work spilling over into today. I want to know exactly what I'm going to start with because I've already prepared it and I'm ready to go and I'm not going to have any delay to get going. Now, what does it mean for my kids to be joyful? To me, that means having a positive outlook for the day, showing kindness to each other, to their siblings, and a cheerful willingness to do the things that may not be first on their list for what they want to do, like math facts or cursive, but a willingness nonetheless. To do this, my kids need a good night's sleep. Right off the bat, they need a good night's sleep the night before. They need consistency in our morning routine on how we get up and start our day. And they need heads up on the expectations of the day. They know what we're going to be doing. What are we doing today, Mom? All of those things. And they have love tank deposits. They feel loved. They feel secure. And plenty of brain breaks throughout the day. So right now, stop and think. What are 2 things that you need for yourself and then 2 things for your kids that you guys would need to start your day joyfully? For you to be able to have joy in the morning, what are 2 things you need in order to be able to do this? It could be stop snoozing your alarm, get dressed every day before the kids, don't stay in your pajamas, set out school supplies the night before, make the coffee the night before, 2 things for yourself and 2 things for your kids. And try to think through that now. 2 things for your kids could be a morning get-up routine Ours is bed, teeth, and clothes. So all I have to say is bed, teeth, and clothes. You need to go to bed, teeth, and clothes. Playtime or free time after breakfast. Sometimes this really helps us. If they don't have to jump right in, they get maybe 20 minutes of free time, go play, go outside in the backyard for a little bit, and then I can set out whatever I need and clean off the breakfast table. Another thing might be some quiet time with mom before starting the day. So if they're not in a mood to go play, you might need to make some love tank deposits and sit and try reading a book with them for a little bit, or just snuggling or listening to music together. What about the bad days when things just aren't clicking? So things are going to happen. Unexpected errands, sibling quarrels, the baby kept everyone awake last night, the lessons are taking twice as long than we anticipated, everybody's just extra whiny, that whole full moon thing with kids. There's just no avoiding the fact that things are going to happen. My suggestion for this is to try to pick one thing that both you and your kids enjoy that you could do when these days happen. So this could be turning on a favorite audiobook in the car if you had to run unexpected errands. It could be having coloring and creation time at the table. If you just want to play some music and help everybody mellow out. And it could also be snuggling up and reading on the couch or going outside together for 10 to 20 minutes to just slow down your morning. Now, sometimes this can be huge in resetting everyone's hearts and attitudes rather than just trying to power through it to get to your school day. And sometimes it's not enough, and the day is just going to be a little bit harder than the other days, and that's okay too. So God can still use those hard days in our children's hearts and in our hearts. But sometimes if we can stop and slow our morning down, pick one thing that we all can enjoy, it can help reset us for the next thing. And remember, ultimately, we're called to teach love first anyways, love for God and love for each other. And so as long as we're keeping that mindset and at the forefront, then those academic subjects will fall in place after that as well. Okay, so what are some actual helpful things to try to keep in mind to start your day with joy and to gather joyfully for school at home time? Now remember, take it, try it, toss it. If you find something you like, please take it and try it. If you don't like it or if it doesn't work for you and your kids, toss it and don't worry about it. So number one is to make sure that you have something in your school at home day that you enjoy and that your kids enjoy, whether this is the same activity or lesson or not. So my daughter loves doing music and singing songs. My son does not. It's not his favorite thing to do, but he participates anyways. So this is not going to be something where we all maybe agree, but there is something in our school day for everyone that everyone can look forward to. Check out things like morning baskets or circle times or nature studies, or you could even explore special interests for each of your children. I have a kid who loves bugs and science and outside, so that's really more his special interest thing, and I try to make sure to include things in our school day that will nurture that a little bit. Number two is try to stay consistent with the what, how, and when you start your school day. Consistency can help weed out unnecessary whining and complaining, and this is so hard to do, but try writing down a routine, something that your kids could grow in training to be independent on, and then make adjustments to it as you go based on your family's needs. But this consistency, like I said, is really going to help weed out any whining, complaining, feet dragging, those types of things. Number three, do your best not to spend too much time on any one subject. So break it up and switch it up according to your kids' needs, so no one gets too bogged down or brain wandering off and gets bored. So continue to check in on the best pacing for your child's learning. You can switch up the subjects, and if math is taking too long, put a break in it and switch to phonics and come back to math later. We will switch up students at the table as well. Like, okay, you're released, you're excused, go take a brain break, and now it's your turn. That way no one feels like they're glued to the chair for too long of a time and starts getting miserable. Okay, y'all, number 4 is don't be afraid to change up the scenery or try something new. So take that schoolwork, put it in a clipboard, and head outside. You could put a blanket out in the front yard to do schoolwork. You can take a basket of your sight words and memory work or read alouds to the park. You could try a local field trip depending on what's open and what's available. But planning exciting things, new things is not only good for your kids, but also good for you guys to have something to look forward to that changes up the everyday in and out routine, whether that's once a week or once a month even. Just make sure you have something on your calendar that changes it up a little bit. Okay, so to wrap it up, y'all, I cannot help but think about all of those kindergarten teachers out there and teachers of other grade levels, but the kindergarten teachers who stand ready at the door to greet their students joyfully and smiling, regardless of whatever may be happening outside of their classroom, whether that's at home, with their own families, with personal circumstances. They set aside all of their worries, stresses, and to-do lists in order to cheerfully be with their students during the school day and create valuable learning moments. As moms, it's so easy to forget to do this because we're mom and teacher when we're teaching school at home. But 1 Thessalonians 5:16 says, be joyful always. Now, we're not perfect, and sometimes as moms, we forget to do this and we just stay perpetually in mom mode and have to get things done mode. And that's okay, it's not a terrible thing unless we are forgetting to carve out time to be with our children joyfully, to model cheerful hearts, and to truly be happy when they come to sit next to us at the table and do school time. I hope that some of this was helpful for you guys. I hope you found something encouraging or that you liked that you can take back and try in your home. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day. Please subscribe for more Enjoying School at Home videos.